What's going on, guys? So I'm back in Toronto now, and a lot of people have been asking me what are some things about Vancouver that I didn't know before going, and like what to expect when they go. Here's my 5 things that I didn't know about Vancouver before going, so let's jump into it. The number 1 thing is that Vancouver is extremely expensive to live. It's actually the most expensive place to live in the whole of Canada. On average, a 1-bedroom is over $2,000 to live. It's extremely expensive, so if you don't have a good job, you're not going to have the best quality of life. But that's because Vancouver is extremely beautiful. I would say one of the best places to live if you can afford it. Vancouver is one of the only places inside of Canada that it barely snows. Like, all my American friends think Canada, snow, polar bears, and whatnot, but in Vancouver it rains a lot, but it barely snows. I recently talked to someone in Vancouver and they said it only snowed once last year. Like, yes, if you go into the mountains in BC, it's gonna snow, but in Vancouver itself, the city, it only snowed about once last year. So not everywhere in Canada there's a bunch of snow. One other thing that's kind of on the downside of Vancouver is there is a lot of homeless people. Like, I'm from Toronto and I've seen my fair share of homeless people downtown all around, but in Vancouver it's on a different level, and I never actually knew there's gonna be that many homeless people. Like, they set up tents and it seems like they have like a whole little village, and they took over a whole parking lot, and it was definitely a super sketchy part of town. We were just driving down the street from Gastown and we pulled up to a red light, and I was like, where are we? This is super sketchy, and I do not want to be around here. And it's actually very disturbing, sad, and I never knew that there was that many homeless people, to be honest. Like, it was not a good part of town. There's a lot of Australian people inside of Vancouver and around Vancouver. That's because Canada and Australia have an unlimited work visa program. It's like a work exchange where Canadians can go to Australia and Australians can come to Canada, where you can go to the other country and work. So there's a lot of people in Vancouver that are Australian working, and it's just a very different experience because you go somewhere and you think they're going to be Canadian with like a Canadian accent, I guess. I don't think we have accent, but then they start talking and it's a very different accent than you're used to or familiar with, and it's kind of weird. I do enjoy it. I do like the Australian accent, and it's definitely a switch of vibe, I guess you could say. So that is definitely one of the things I didn't know and did not expect. So gas in Vancouver is crazy expensive. It's like $1.50 a liter. I was not expecting that whatsoever because in Toronto gas is like $1.10 a liter. The highest I've ever seen gas in Toronto was $1.40, and that was like super expensive. But in Vancouver the average was going at like $1.50 a liter. I'm gonna try to do the conversion for the American side of things, but it was crazy expensive, and that was just for regular gas. If you had to put like premium, it was like $1.80 a liter, which is super high, and you might want to buy a Tesla. These are some extra little add-ons, that things I didn't realize about Vancouver. People are really nice, which is really weird. Like, Canadians are normally pretty nice, but in Toronto people can be rude, and like, I honestly think people in Toronto are nice, but you go to Vancouver and people are overly nice. Americans say people are nice, that they're talking about people from Vancouver, because people in Vancouver are extremely nice, which is really weird and odd. I'm not used to that kind of behavior. People will go up and beyond and out of their way to help you, and everyone's saying good morning, how you doing, stop and having conversations. It's a different vibe. They have red light cameras and speed cameras almost everywhere. So if you go to Vancouver, don't speed and don't try to beat the red light. Just slow down, stop, wait for it, because who needs like a $350 ticket And if you're speeding, slow down, just drive the speed limit, because you definitely don't want to get a speeding ticket, because that'll just throw off your whole vacation. That's all I have for this video. If you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help. And until the next video, peace.